Hello, this is Sandy with Sandy's Crafty Creations. It's day 12 of my 13 Frights before Halloween. We have finished working on the little haunted house kit from Country Craft Creations, and today I'm going to use the photo play paper Matilda and Godfrey Halloween with Matilda and Godfrey to create an envelope mini album that will fit up in the little house if you choose to store it there. Now you're going to need some envelopes. I purchased mine from Michael's. They're craft color. You could use black or any color that you have. And they measure 7 1/4 inches by 5 1/4 inches tall. So that's the size that you need, and we're going to need to cut our pattern paper, and I'll give you the measurements for that later. But first, let's put the little album together. And remember to leave a comment here and on my blog for a bonus comment for the prize drawing that I will do after 10 p.m. tomorrow night, Monday night. That's 10 p.m. Central Daylight Savings Time. And a winner will be announced by 2 a.m. Not 2 a.m., but 2 p.m., sorry, on Halloween Day. That's 2 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Okay, let's get started. I have 7 of the envelopes that I purchased from Michael's. I'm using the craft, and they are 7 1/4 inches long by 5 1/4 inches tall. And you're going to fold them in half. Some will be folded so that the flaps are in the inside, and some will be folded so that the flaps are to the outside. So this one has a flap on the inside. I'm just showing you how to fold it. I just fold it up. Actually, the flaps are to the envelope flaps are to the outside on that one. And you use your bone folder to crease it. So I have 6 that are, well, actually 3 are to the outside, and 3 are with the envelope flaps to the inside, and then I have 1 where it's to the inside, which will become the cover of the album. So I'm just getting these all nicely folded, squared up, and burnished. And now I'm taking glue to one of the first ones. So I'm putting it on the solid back, which has the envelope flap to the inside, and make sure you do it in the right direction. And now I'm attaching one that has the flap to the outside. So what this happens is that you're going to have some with pockets and some that are not, don't have pockets, and they're solid. And that's the way I want them. So I'm kind of reversing these as I go. Just add some glue all around the edges and in the center, and then make sure you're putting them on the correct direction and line these up this way. So you're sandwiching these together to create the binding of this little album. So there's no hinge, they're just stacked on top of each other and lined up on the spine side. So I hope that's clear to you of how to line these up together. So with 7 like this, you should end up, you have an extra with it, with the envelope flap to the inside. So when you line these up this way, starting with the one on the front, when you end, you should have one on the outside that is solid so that your envelope flaps are on the inside. So just keep stacking these up together and glue them together. These are really fun and quick to put together, make a cute gift. The little Halloween one would be fun to put all the different photos of your costumes or from your party or whatever however you're celebrating Halloween. Now we're not going to seal up these flaps for the pockets yet. We're going to do our pattern paper inside first before we do that. So I'm just checking to make sure. This one I didn't think was on straight enough, so I'm redoing it to make sure it's a little bit straighter. So sometimes we have to re-glue things, move it around, reposition it if it's not exactly the way we want it. So I wanted that one a little bit straighter. Sometimes your envelopes are not quite squared from the manufacturer, so sometimes you have to work with that. Okay, and this is the last one. I think. No, I think I have one more after that. I think originally I only had 6 laying on the table, so I have to stop and fold another. So I'm putting this one down, and then I need the 7th one to make the last set so that it has a solid piece on the outside. So I need one more. Let me grab that real quick. So I'm going to fold another one with the envelope flaps to the inside. And I'm making stuff a note. I always keep a little notepad by to take notes so that I know how many of something in the sizes that I used. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this one on, and this becomes the back cover of the album. Okay, so the album pages and the cover, they're all together, and they are seamed together on one side, and we have pockets that we're going to add in. And we have an alternating solid pages with pocket pages. So we're ready to do the decorating, patterning the paper on it, and I'm going to measure the front and decide what size papers I need on the front. I think I'm going to cut them all the same. They're going to be 5 and 1/8 inches tall by 3 inches wide. So measure yours just in case there's some slight variation with your envelopes. So I went ahead and cut everything that I needed. I've cut 16 each, and I'm going to ink the edges right quick. So that's what I'm doing here in this part of the video. I've got all my papers inked, and I'm ready to start gluing them onto the front and back and to the inside of my album. So I'm going to open this back, and I'm going to glue this green witch's paper to go with the theme that I used on the house, where the witch has been flattened by the house. So the outside, I'm using the green paper with the witch hats and shoes on it. And to help me pattern this, I'm holding down the book closed with the clip. So I'm using again the art glitter glue, and I highly recommend that if you haven't purchased it yet for your glue, that you order the metal tip that you can use on the art glitter glue bottle. It helps control the amount of glue that you're putting out on your paper and helps prevent wrinkling. And also burnishing with your hands really helps to prevent any kind of wrinkle on your paper, patterned paper. So I'm patterning the front and the back the same. And then we'll start working on the inside. I also like to use a dry baby wipe to wipe up any excess glue. So I'm going to open this up. So our first table pages is the pocket pages, and I'm going to use this ghost paper. Now you don't pattern the whole page down into the pocket, you're going to actually cut it. So I'm measuring, and I'm going to cut this paper to where it has, I'm going to cut off 1.5 inches. That will cover the pocket part, and the rest will be used inside to cover the above the pocket. So I'm cutting this off right now and get the trimmer. And like I said, I'm going to cut off from the bottom 1.5 inches. It just depends. Measure it for yourself. You may want more or less, but I'm going to use 1.5 inches on this, and I'm inking the edge that I cut. And I'm going to go ahead and glue this down on the pocket. And then I'm going to reverse the paper, and I'm going to glue the reverse part into the upper part of the pocket page. So I've got spider webs on the top, ghosts on the bottom, and on the other side I will reverse that. So I'll show you just a second. going to do the same thing. I'm going to cut about 1.5 inches off the bottom. Now you don't have to reverse them if you don't want to. I'll probably look at it and see if that's really what I want to do. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the spider web on the pocket part at the bottom, and then I'll use my ghost at the top. So that's kind of a reverse, matching but reversed. So open that up, and then I'm going to put my glue on. And then after you've patterned it, then you can go ahead and seal up your pocket sections. So I'm putting some glue on the sides, on each side of the pockets and in the middle. And I'm just going to fold that up and burnish it and make sure it glues on each side. So that's how you seal up your pockets. So you're going to do the same thing for all of your pocket pages, and then we're also going to pattern the solid pages, but right now I'm cutting out some of the cut aparts, and I usually just use my scissors to cut those out, and I'm going to show you how it goes in the pockets. So I'm just doing it for these first two to show you, and then you will go ahead and measure and pattern all your pocket pages and your solid pages with the papers that you've already cut. So I'm cutting out this Happy Halloween and ink in the edges. And I'm sticking it in to the pockets. And I'm also doing the boo. So that's going to be it for today. Check back tomorrow for the 13th Frights Before Halloween. We're going to finish up this little album, and then we'll be done with the 13 days and be ready for the drawings. So be sure and comment here on my video and also on my blog for a bonus entry, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.